Hi everyone, welcome back to If My Heart Had Wings Flight Diary After Route, Episode 7, where we are in the middle of a farewell party for Aoi. So Aoi will be leaving the Flying Fish Manor soon, and his mother found a replacement as the new dorm mother. So Aoi is now 5th year and he'll be graduating soon, and now it's time for him to depart from the things that he's been so attached to. So the Flying Fish Manor, the Soaring Club, and eventually Keifuu Academy. So the Flying Fish Manor is now kind of vacant now that Kanako, the girl that you see here, Yuka and Sanai, have all graduated. And now it's just the twins. So Asa and Yoru, Ryoko, and Kotori. So right now, the party is going well, and Hibari made so much barbecue meat, and I'm not sure if everyone got a chance to eat that. So also, the girls, so the twins, Agaha and Kotori, made a special cake for Aoi. So, in the cake is a mechanism that launches the candy glider. And it's like, well, we want to show off our engineering skills, even though that's not the right place to do so. And it kind of shocked Aoi, but he ate the cake in the end. So now they're making pizza, and it looks like Kotori and Aoi were talking about some things, with Aoi thanking Kotori for hosting this party, and Kanako wondering what's going on. So she's like,
何やってるの、お二人さん。
Okay.
疲れたからちょっと休憩してたの。朝から働きっぱなしだもん。
So I was the host, and now I'm tired, and now I'm taking a break. Kotori rolls her head and stretched to loosen her neck and shoulders. So she's basically stretching. Kanako sat beside me, a paper cup of juice in one hand.
時間ってのは無情だね。楽しければ楽しいほどあっという間に過ぎちゃうんだもん。
Well, time passes when you're having fun. That is true. Before you know it, graduations are going to be here soon.
二人はもう進路決まってるんだよね。
So anyways, so have you decided on your career goals? Kotori and I glance at each other. Kotori is going to a university, and I am getting a job.
じゃあさ、グライダーはどうするの？
So what about the glider and flying?
もちろん続けるつもりよ。私も葵もクラブの会員だし。
Well, we'll still fly. When we gotten our pilot licenses, we became members of a soaring group. We can't go there whenever we want to fly. So, I'm pretty sure that's an outside association, and it does cost money, but by then they'll have money to purchase some time to fly there.
OB としてソアリング部の部活にこっそり混ぜてもらったりしないの？
Well, I guess we could do that.
その前にソアリング部がなくなってるかも。
Well, that is a problem. Even if we go on, it would just be for researching gliders as a group of interested people.
じゃあもう風が浦の空では飛ばないのか。
Kanako seems sad.
ここから葵くんたちが飛んでるの見るの好きだったんだけどね。
Kanako looks up at the sky as if to recall the sight of us above.
でも、もしかすると将来的には飛べるようになるかも。どういうこと？じゃなくて、とある人がね、風ヶ浦にソアリングクラブを作りたいって言ってるから。
Well, there might be hope. The fact that someone is thinking about starting up a big soaring club or group.
へえ、そうなんだ。じゃあ、小鳥ちゃんたちもそこのクラブに入るの？
I look at Kotori. She is talking about Isuka.
ああ、でもやっぱ無理かな。活動場所も期待さえまだないし。
Well, I'm sure that will take more time. So Isuka is still in university, and at first, Isuka should graduate and then figure out how to build this soaring group. So Isuka had called this her ambition. It is a big, bold plan. And I wonder how many years she planned to spend making it come true. Well, then again, by that time, Isuka has no time constraints, so she won't have the threat about, well, I have to graduate eventually, and if I don't get all this done, then I'll graduate or be forced to graduate with nothing done. So by that time, she's already graduated and is just spending her spare time or her free time on her dream or ambition. We had a place and a glider, and yet soon we would not be able to do anything with them. I laugh at the irony.
じゃあ、全部あげちゃえばいいじゃない。
So who? Then what would be the other club members do? They just turned into a soaring club that could not fly.
いや、待って。
Wait, so what's wrong? Kotori suddenly looks very serious.
いけるかも。
So what's the idea? So what are you thinking about?
カナの言ったこと、全部あげちゃうの。
So giving who everything? Kotori says, deep in thought. She put her hand to her mouth and stared into space. Hey now, what are you talking about? That glider belongs to the Soaring Club, or Keifuu Academy, and we can't just give it to someone. Giving it to Isuka just might keep us flying, I thought. But what would happen to the Soaring Club?
違うの。これなら部を存続させられるかもしれない。
Wait, so I have a better idea. So what is the idea?
イスカさん？何？
So let's see if Isuka agrees to Kotori's idea. Isuka comes over, pizza still hanging from her mouth.
私たちのグライダー欲しい？何いきなり？あのグライダーがあればクラブを設立できる？そりゃだいぶ現実的になるけど。
So I'm sure right now Isuka is still in the planning stages, so she's not ready to take on anything yet. And it's like, well, I still have all this I have to do first. So the paperwork application and the estimates for cost and, you know.
ちょっと鳥先輩、何言い出すんですか？
Door overhears Kotori and broke into a conversation. Asa stands beside her, looking worried.
あげちゃうんですか？そりゃ、この機体は先輩たちが作ったものですけど。
But either way, they, so Aoi, Ageka, and Kotori can't take the glider with them.
違うの、聞いて。はるみちゃんも 桐野さんもいい？
はい。
何ですか？
So, what's up?
ここにいるイスカさんは風が浦にソアリングクラブを作りたいって言ってるわ。小鳥ちゃん。
Hey, Kotori-chan. So, you shouldn't say that yet.
今の私たちにはグライダーで飛ぶための設備が一通り揃ってるわよね。もしそれをきれいさっぱりイスカさんに譲ることができたら、この町にソアリングクラブを作れるかもしれない。
だからそんなことしたら私らの分がなくなっちゃいます。
But without the glider, we can't be a club.
そうですよ。私たちどうすればいいんですか？
Asa had helped us build the glider. Yoru had not been directly involved, but she did help in some ways. We couldn't ignore them while deciding anything about the glider's ownership.
だから借りるのよ、イスカさんのクラブで。
So we give it to her and then borrow it back? Kotori nods.
なるほど。
Agaha smacks her hands in realization after she pieced together what Kotori meant. So, what do you see? Or, what's your take?
私たちの問題って何だと思う？
Well, first, there is the advisor that we don't have. And without a responsible advisor, the school will not allow us to do anything. So the advisor is still on vacation.
それは私たちがずっと言われ続けてた安全性の問題とも言えるわよね。
And the problem with safety.
子供たちだけでやるのは危ないっていうあれ。
That's what Toruka always says.
けどもう一つあるのよ。今私たちが直面してる大きな問題が。
So, which is what specifically? So, what problem? I cock my head to one side and Kotori answers rather sharply.
技術とノウハウを持った部員がいつか卒業していなくなるってことよ。
Oh, yes. It took a lot of skills and related certifications to keep a glider running. For example, I had a pilot license. Without that, you couldn't operate and fly the glider. And there's also certifications for maintenance as well. And likewise, it took a lot of time and effort to get those skills and certifications. The fact that people who acquire them would graduate every year is a real fundamental problem. And to solve it, we tried searching for an advisor with all the necessary papers, but we hadn't found anyone that would work. Well, we could pass on some skills to the underclassmen, but it is hard with the limited time we have.
私たちの時はあまねちゃんが留年しまくっててくれたからなんとかなったけど、私らにはあれは真似できないもんね。
But if there is a group of adults no one would be graduating, the skill and experience would be preserved and they could take the time to pass it on to younger members.
だから私たちの持ってる設備を譲り渡してクラブの設立を助ける。その代わり慶風学園のソアリング部はその設備を利用させてもらえれば。
Okay? So will that solve all our problems?
クラブには有資格者がいるだろうし、部員はそこで技術を学んだり資格を取る勉強もできると。そしてグライダーの運用そのものはクラブがするから、学生中心の部活動より安全性もぐっと増すわ。
So we'll give this to the experts, and it'll be safer to have the experts own the club. But will it really work? Everyone had the same doubts. They all turned to look at Kotori.
どうかしら、イスカさん。
So Isuka, any comments? Now all eyes on Kotori turn to Isuka. So what does she say?
と
I'm sure Isuka is surprised by the sudden events.
そりゃそうできたらありがたいけど、練習機として福崎は必ず必要になるし、ウインチなんかの設備も自腹で揃えるのは大変だから。
So I think Isuka's like, well, our club or your club has specific requirements, and it might be hard to make some outside source adopt those specifics.
慶風学園のソアリング部の子らを指導するっていうのも悪い話じゃない。その子たちの何人かは卒業後クラブに残ってくれるだろうし。でも10年くらいかかるかもって思ってた計画だから、ごめん、頭がついていかない。
There you go. So it takes time for this club to form. So I'm estimating about 10 years to build this club from scratch.
その計画ってどのくらい進んでるんですか？
So how is it going? So where are you?
まだ青写真を描いてる最中だよ。
So I'm still just putting this together. So I still have a long way to go.
資金の方はなんとかなりそうなんだけど、やっぱり一番の問題は場所でさ。
And there are many hurdles like finance that I have to overcome first.
とりあえず今は僕が整備の資格を取るために勉強してるとこかな。
Okay. After all, Isuka is still just a college student. She just been working hard to make the foundations for her dream come true.
はーい、ちょっといいかな。
Kanako has raised her hand.
話がどんどん進んじゃってるみたいだけど、それって下の子らの意見も聞いてみた方がいいんじゃないかな。
So I wonder what things they can add in to help with this problem. We gotten so fired up, we gone and forgot about them. Well, okay, so Harumi and Haruka, what do you two think?
確かに非常に合理的なアイデアだと思います。けど鳥先輩らしい理想論でもあるわね。
Oh, so also the twins.
超えなきゃいけないハードルも多数見受けられるわ。でももしそれができたら。
俺たち部活続けられるんですよね。
そんでもって飛べるっすよね。
Harumi and the others look at Kotori with worry in their eyes.
今問題になっていることは全てクリアできるし、部活動としてもより健全になるはずよ。
The underclassmen who we left after we graduated exchange glances.
それなら私、その計画に乗りたいです。
俺飛べなくなるなんて嫌です。せっかく苦労して資格取りに行ってるとこだし。
私もっす。もっとこの部活続けたいっす。けどさっきヨルちゃんが言った通り、越えなきゃいけないハードルが山ほどあるわ。うん、クラブを作るってだけならそう難しくはないと思うけど、実際に運営していくとなると、お金とか土地とか人とか法律のあれこれとか、やっぱ簡単にはいかないと思う。
Isuka looks apologetic. So yes, there are a lot of hurdles we'll have to overcome first.
私たちだけじゃ力が足りない。大勢の人の協力が必要になる。
And it'll require a lot of people to help. Kotori's voice falls. I guess that the cold hard truth had caught up to her and she realized her idea might not be perfect. Well, I'm sure they can work it out somehow. So even though it's not perfect, they can fix it here and there and change it here and there and it will work. When Kotori's voice fell, the rest of us who'd been caught in the dream started to cool down as well. The loss of the dream felt huge, though we only hold it for a moment. Everyone's gaze falls downward, and then... So I wonder what happens next.
なら、私が最初の協力者になろう。
So who's this person? A voice suddenly rings out. Everyone slowly turns towards the voice. And staying there is...
やあ、君たち。
Okay, so it's Amane, and I wonder how she was able to hear the whole story and give an answer. So she's busy eating. Wait, so you're here? Everyone is so shocked, our hearts almost leapt from our chests.
先輩がどうしてここに？
So what are you doing here?
しかもピザ食べてるし。
Pizza? Amane had appeared from nowhere and had somehow gotten some steaming hot pizza.
あんた、いつからいたの？
さっきからだよ。
For a while, and she's still eating pizza.
ピザが焼けた時、列に並んでたよ。
Everyone was so distracted by the pizza. No, well, one but Hotaru had noticed. So he just lined up and got your pizza. We are all completely stunned.
こんなところにいた。
And who else is here? Another voice calls out from near the gate.
あかりさん。
Oh, so Akari is here too. Akari comes stomping over. She grabs Amane by the scruff of the neck.
ここで何してるんですか？
So what are you doing here?
葵くんの送別会をするというから参加しに来たんだが、もうバーベキューは終わっていた。
So I wanted to join the farewell party, but I came late and I missed the first part. So the cookout, the barbecue, the meat.
確かに、あまねちゃんにも招待メール出したけどさ、返事来てなかったよね。
But I'm sure Amane did read it, even though she didn't reply.
っていうか、アメリカにいたんじゃなかったんですか。
ピザ美味しいぞ。あかりも食べるといい。意地汚い真似はおやめください、先生。
Hey, so Sensei, please stop acting like this. So don't be crazy eating all the stuff. Or stop thinking about food that much. So remember on TV, on the national... I'm not sure what it's called, but it's not National Geographic. It's like, oh, so Natural Geographics. You were eating on camera. Akari shook Amane by the neck as she scolded her. Everyone else just stares open mouthed. Wow.
空港に着いた途端、行方がわからなくなったと思ったら、こんなところでピザを食べてるなんて。
So I wonder if Akari followed Amane all the way here from America. So Amane snuck out and she took a flight, and I think Akari might have had an idea about where Amane was going to go.
お腹が空いてたんだ。あかりはどこかへいなくなってしまっていたし。
先生がそうおっしゃるから、私は売店へ食べ物を買いに行ってたんです。
Well, you told me that you were hungry, so I went to buy something for you, but then you bounced off and basically I wasted my time and effort on you.
そうだったのか。先に帰ったのかと思ってたぞ。
It appears that they just came back to Japan.
っていうか、来たんならまず声かけなさいよ。
So what's the deal about why Amane wants to come back to Japan? So what special event? And I'm sure it's more than just this farewell party.
ああ、すまない。そうするつもりだったんだが、ピザが美味しそうだったんでな。
But first, I love the pizza. She's right, though. The stone oven cooked pizza smells incredible.
おかわり焼けましたよ。
Okay, so here's more.
おお、じゃあいただくとしよう。
Okay, I'll take it. And we're back to Amane crazily eating pizza. So she eats like a wild animal. And it's been a while since I've seen this shocking display. Well, now I always see it in real life.
伝説の先輩だ。
So she is a legend herself,
テレビで見たまんまだ。
just like on TV. So the natural geographics. The two underclassmen gawk like the crowds gain the first glimpse of a panda at Ueno Zoo.
っていうか、さっきあの人何か言ってませんでしたか？
And the problem is that she notified no one about coming back, so it's a big surprise for everyone.
ピザが美味しい以外、なんか言ってたっけ？
So, has she talked about other things besides the pizza is delicious?
本当は。
Wait, so what's wrong? Well then, let me be your first partner. That is what she said. That is really important.
あまねちゃん、どういうこと？協力者になってくれるって。
Hey, so answer us. So what do you mean, let me be your first partner?
ちょっと待っててくれ。ピザは焼きたてが。
Well, just a moment.
美
So
味しい
first,
んだ。
let me enjoy the pizza. Amane looks utterly joyful with both hands full of pizza, or sauce, or oil, or cheese.
誰かピザ取り上げて。
Okay, so first we got to get the pizza away from Amane so that she will pay attention to us. I don't think she'll listen unless we do.
すいません先輩、話が進まないんで。
Well, sorry, so this is important, so I'll let you have the pizza later. Agha and I took the pizza from each hand.
何をするんだ。話が終わったら食べさせてあげるから、あまねちゃん用に丸ごと1枚焼いてあげるわ。ねえお姉ちゃん。
There you go.
任せて。
Sure, leave it all to me.
せめて今食べてたのだけでも。
Well, can you at least let me have the 2 slices?
ダメ、後で。
Well, no. Mine looks crushed. It might have seemed like we were picking on a child, but she is by far the oldest person here. She let out a pitiful sigh and then starts talking.
むしろ私の方が協力をお願いしに来たんだ。
Okay, so the reason I came here is because I want to ask some help from you. Basically, ask you guys a favor. So, you need our help?
そうだ。君たちの秘密基地の一部を借りられないかと思ってな。
Okay. So the secret base. I hadn't heard that in a while. Back when the club had been disbanded, we called the hangar that we borrowed from Asa our secret base. Okay? And now that the school had approved us, it's no secret, So now it is just a hangar or a dock. That makes sense.
あそこで何するんですか？
風車を作るんだ。そのための場所を確保しなきゃいけなくてな。さあ、説明したぞ。ピザを食べさせてくれ。
Okay, so that's all I want. So I just want a place to store the parts for my next wind turbine. Okay, so can I have my pizza back?
今ので終わり？
Wait, that's it?
全然わかんないっす、先輩。
So, can you explain more? Akari comes to our rescue.
私が代わりにご説明いたします。現在、風車の丘に望月先生がデザインした風車が稼働していることはご存知ですね。
So you know that most of the turbines here are designed by Mochizuki sensei, right? We nod. We all know that very well. They even talked about it on that show.
簡単に言うと、その風車に注文が殺到しているのです。
騒音が少なく、風量による発電量の差も小さいって聞いてるわ。
So they have better efficiency and less disruptions, so vibrations and noise. It is Akari's turn to nod. She gave Yoru an approving look.
近年、自然エネルギーへの注目度は飛躍的に高まり、その技術は世界規模のニーズを生んでいます。アメリカと日本を行き来する望月先生には海外からのオファーも多数来ているのよ。
じゃあ、あれと同じ風車をあそこでたくさん作るんですか？
So it looks like all over the world they want to build similar wind turbines from Mochizuki sensei, right? Akari shakes her head.
自然エネルギーによる発電は環境への依存度が大きい。その場所に適した方法をその都度探さないといけないわ。
True. It takes deep research to find the appropriate method for any specific location.
それに望月先生のお仕事はあくまでデザインすること。現地の情報をもとに設置場所に適した風車をデザインするの。
つまり、あそこで試作モデルを作りたいってわけね。そっか、あそこなら作ってすぐ実験もできるもんね。そういうことだ。分かってくれたならピザを。
So now, can I have my pizza back? The second time.
まだよ、大事なとこが抜けてる。
Wait.
私たちにどう協力してくれるの？
So, we're not done yet.
だから場所を借りる分家賃を払う。
Well,
秘密
that's
基地
not
の半分もあればこと足りる。
that's not what Kotori wants from Amane. Even renting out half the space in that enormous hangar will leave us plenty of room to spare.
クラブを作るならグライダーは何機か欲しいけど、あそこならそれでも全然余りそうだね。
So, you know, I also want to put some new glider or maybe some new prototypes.
ついでに電気もタダで使えるぞ。
実験のために発電した電力をそのまま使用できます。やや不安定かもしれませんが。
So obviously, wind turbines are dependent on the amount of wind on that day. So if it is a day where it's calm, then the wind turbines are useless.
あそこで生活するわけじゃないから、そこは大丈夫なんじゃないかな。
That would help reduce operating costs too.
俺も協力するぞ。
I'll help, says Tatsuya. Tatsuya had been listening quietly, but now raises his hand.
今まで通りウインチや機械類のメンテナンスなら任せてくれ。
So, leave it to me when it comes to maintenance.
五十嵐君。
もちろんタダでだ。その代わりたまには乗せてくれよな。
Okay?
ありがとう。 ちも
Okay, so now we have external people offering help. So Yuka and Tsunae. So Yuka and Tsunae had been sitting and listening. Now they slowly raise their hands as well. So they are not affiliated with the Soaring Club in any way, but they did kind of contribute it somehow. Well, especially in Kotori's route.
クラブの会員集めなら協力できるかも
So even though we don't know the technical details, we can help in other ways. So help bring more members or volunteers to help.
本当に
Really?
系風の子でグライダーに興味を持ってた子結構いたから
Well, I'm sure we can find people that are interested.
飛び岡先生のこと怖がってて言い出せない子とかいたんですよね
Okay?
それなら私も大学の子に声かけてみますようちの大学ここから近いんで
Well, it's more like it's boring there, so I want something more interesting.
それすっごい助かる会員集めどうしようって思ってたから
You couldn't have a group without members, of course. It is one of the major problems we have.
なんかできそうな気がしてきた
So I think we'll be able to do this. Oh, yes, good.
問題はたくさんあるけどでもいいよこの計画グレートだよ
Isuka had not been so sure a few minutes ago, but now with all the help, he's looking up. Okay, so it looks like my idea will work. So thanks to all of your help or your willingness to help.
それに系風ソアリング部の存続に力を貸せるってのもいいね
なんたってソアリング部はお前が復活させたんだもんな
So you know, you were actually the pioneer, so you were the first to bring it back. And you then drag Amane into it, and later me. And we'll see all this once we look at the prologue and the after route that's connected to Amane's character route. Amane and Isuka exchange looks when Tatsuya says that.
あの時は私と二人だけだったけど今はこんなに大勢いる
There you go.
仲間
Isuka looks out in astonishment at all the people around her.
飛びたいって気持ちをみんなが持ってるのなら僕にできる限りのことをするよ
Looking around, everyone is nodding in agreement. And Isuka nods back.
じゃあ一丁やってみますか
Okay, we'll do this. So what is step one for Isuka to start building this spectacular, big, soaring group for Kazugura? Once Isuka had decided to act, she did not waste any time. She dove right into getting her group started this year as if her whole 10-year plan thing never happened. So she might be able to shorten it to maybe 7 years or even less, or 5 years. That'll be great. And though it had just been a passing idea, it gave meaning to reviving the club and its decaying glider. But first, we need to make sure all this is possible. The thing is, some of our equipment has been borrowed and there is no guarantee that Isuka could use it. And we still had to work it out with the school. So the problem is that the winch and this glider, the property of Keifuu Academy, and if they want to build this new Soaring Club and take the glider away, they'll have to get the permission and the approval of the school to do so. We are not sure if they allow us to do activities with equipment borrowed from an outside group. If we could not, then the whole plan would collapse. And so, the next few days after that evening had been very busy. And I wonder how it is going, so it looks like they might have hit a roadblock. Isuka comes back from outside and collapses on the table. So it went well, so total success. It just taken Isuka to meet with the runway landowner, so it looks like the winch is okay. We explained the situation and asked if Isuka would be able to use the runway. It had gone well. So it wasn't me, it was Aoi's mother. So how? We asked my mother to be our intermediary in the negotiation. My mom is a friend of the landowner. In fact, I doubt there is any landowner in that area my mom did not know. I doubt we would get much trust as students, so I figure having the mother who works in the real estate business would help us out. So they went, oh, okay, so I'm sure it'll work. So Minase-san and her son. Wow, that was great. So Aoi's mother? Well, I'm sure it was easy, and I'm sure it's like, well, you did help us out a lot. So I'm talking about the landowners. So in return, we should do something in return to return all those favors. Yes, I guess we're lucky to have her on our side. More like the mother's like, well, I'm going to do anything to help my son become successful. So if he does like gliders and having a soaring club, then I'll help him make it happen. I figure it would work out since the guy is, well, an old soaring club member, but it had been super easy with my mom aboard. So no haggling. Well, I'm not sure if that is the biggest problem. Yori said, looking over the plans. Making sure we had a runway is one of our big issues. Since we need a big flat area, if the owner refused, we had to travel a really long distance to find another place. So far, it looks like the plan to start the big Kazagura Soaring Club or Soaring Group is right on track. But there is another problem. She's worried about whether or not Isuka would be able to use the hangar. Naturally, no one thought she'd be able to use it for free. We can only use it now because of Asa, and maybe Yoru. That negotiation would also have a lot of problems, or conditions. So use your helpless looks to basically make the person feel bad that they'll give in and allow us to use this hangar. So the grandfather. Asa and Kotori shares a firm handshake. So okay, so do your acting and it'll all work out. I could not tell if they are joking or being serious.
うちのお父さんも全面的に協力してくれるって。
All this would mean new, unfamiliar planes would be flying overhead. Local residents are sure to worry about accidents. And there would be outsiders joining the group, so strangers would be coming and going. And all this would need to be explained before we start a group here. And anyways, it'd always be better to have locals on our side, so they'll support us in the event that something goes wrong. Or if someone decides to oppose the Soaring Club. And it can't be anyone, not just Tomika Sensei. Agaha's old man is the head of the Chamber of Commerce and knows everyone. And going through him could help or get the town's key figures on board to help get the group started.
街が活気づいていいんじゃないかってさ。ありがとう、アゲハちゃん。
So that leaves just the school. So now we have the approval of the landowners for the winch and maybe the key people. So the Agaha's father being part of the Chamber of Commerce and maybe Asa Yor's grandfather. So I wonder about the school.
それならもうすぐ交渉窓口が来るはずよ。あいつ遅いな。どこで道草してんのかしら。
So who's the contact? Aga starts grumbling and then... Oh, so Masasugu. Masasugu comes bursting in. He seems oddly happy. Why?
おー、来た来た。遅かったじゃんか。
So is it because of Akari?
遅れてごめんなさい。仕事がどうしても抜けられなくて。
So yes, it is Akari.
って、あかりさん？
Wait, so you? Akari follows Masasugu in.
聞いて驚け。あかりさんはな、お前たちのために力を貸してくださるそうだ。
Say no, it is quite an honor for Akari-san to help you guys.
望月先生が協力すると言っている以上、私も手を貸さないわけにはいきません。ほんのサポートですが、力になれればと思います。
But I'll help you as much as I can. We've all been so worried about the school negotiations. The sudden appearance of help had made us giddy.
いいですか？交渉するときは毅然とした態度で臨むこと。
Akari stands in front of the whiteboard. We sat in a semicircle and listened quietly. It is like we are in class. So Akari being the teacher.
先生方はあなたたちを所詮は子供の集まりと思っているわ。
As expected.
その子供たちが主導で動いている計画を先生たちはまず侮ってみるはず。
So they will be skeptical of the proposals that you will present them. So
いい？舐められてはダメよ。所詮子供と思われているうちは対等な交渉はできないわ。
okay. Everyone takes Akari very seriously. So she had been the student council VP for 1 term and then president for 2, and she has experience.
なるほど。
So, okay, I understand, says Kotori. Kotori is taking notes as seriously as she ever did. She looks oddly meticulous like this.
具体的にはどのように対処すればいいんですか？まずどんな質問にも答えられるよう準備しておくこと。
So you must be able to answer any questions they fire at you.
そしてさも当然のようにそれに答えるの。なるべくスラスラと。答えに詰まってはダメよ。
You can't hesitate or stumble, looking like, oh, so it looks like I haven't thought about this when we were playing this. So you gotta be able to handle any question comfortably. And I guess it looked like we are confused or unsure of ourselves.
中には論点がずれていたり、わざと意地悪な質問をする先生もいるでしょう。だからといって答えられなかったら、準備が足りていない。所詮は子供のすることだと思われてしまうわ。
That's true. Akari, so is something bothering you?
してません。
No?
あかりさんもそれで苦労したんだよ。
So apparently, when she was student council president, she did have to handle this a lot. So she knows the tips and tricks of all this. Masasugu whispers to me. Clearly, she is irritated thinking back on what she's been through as VP and president. Did they actually treat someone as talented as Akari like that? Well, I'm sure that's an obvious yes.
でも私たちのやろうとしてることは前例がないわけじゃないから、話せば分かってもらえると思うんですが。
So I'm sure whenever Akari presents something, there is at least one teacher who is critical of it and will try to question down Akari with so many difficult questions. And Akari has to answer them one by one and try to get this teacher satisfied.
学校外の設備を借りて活動している部は他にもいくつかあったわね。
ツーリング部がそうですね。練習走行用のコースを借りてました。
So you know, you're not the only club that uses outside facilities. So you should be able to have some leverage. Masuku has been the student council president until the other day, so he is clued in. School facilities often are not sufficient for the more unusual clubs. The club Masasugu had mentioned entered solar car races, and they had to use outside courses to practice, so they need a track and there are other examples like sports schools that often let teams practice with university or corporate teams. Well, I'm sure that's a given, and I'm sure anybody would understand what they need and what their activity is about. So that's a bad comparison. And there are lots of examples. However,
学校のクラブが外部の社会人のクラブ設立に力を貸したという前例は聞いたことがないわ。
so what you're trying to do is kind of exception or special.
おまけに部の設備であるグライダーを預けようとしている。これも多分前例はないでしょう。
And access to property of the school. Akari thought we have trouble getting permission to give away the glider we bought with the help of school funds.
自分たちは博物館にあげちゃおうとしたくせに。
And for some reason, back then, when we were not a soaring club, the school wanted to sell this glider to a museum.
博物館は公共の施設ですし、寄贈という形式をとってましたからね。
Well, then again, it is property of school, so they could sell it to the museum. Which is why we come up with the idea of letting Isuka hold the glider. We also thought of keeping the appearance of Isuka's group borrowing the glider would be better for each of us in the long run.
それからもう一つ問題になるとすれば、イスカさんのクラブがまだ存在していないことですね。
Oh, so that's a big problem. So Isuka's group is still being built, so it doesn't exist yet, so it has not been approved. That's true.
実態がわからないのに、学校側としてはおいそれと信用はできないと思います。
Since the school would be entrusting an outside organization with its students, they could not just trust everyone.
僕の信用にかかってるってことか。自信ないな。
I had heard that Isuka is a real terror when she was a student at Keifuu. I wonder what the teachers who remembered her would think.
しかし、この計画についてはあなた方と学校との間でメリットが一致しているはずなの。これがどういうことかお分かりですか？
Do you remember what that is?
気合と根性があればどうにかできるってことかしら？
No, I didn't think Akari would look at it like that.
プレゼンテーション次第ってことね。
Okay. Says Yoru.
メリットが一致していることを先生らに理解させることができれば話が通らない道理はない。
Akari nods.
だからこそ舐められちゃいけないのね。
So they will listen seriously and take us on equal terms.
ですが、一部の先生はそもそもソアリング部がどんな活動をしているのかさえ知らないわ。交渉の進め方次第では一方的に却下される恐れもある。
So I am kind of worried that your presentation will be poor and they will just reject you outright. So we had to think about our presentation. In other words, how could we get the teachers to understand?
交渉役は誰なの？
And who's going to do this?
俺は仲介はするけどそこまでだぞ。実際の交渉はお前らがやってくれよな。
まあここは部長であり成績面でも優等生な小鳥がやればいいんじゃない？
She's even gotten a special endorsement for a university. The teachers all respect and accept her. However, so what is Kotori thinking about? So it looks like she has some second thoughts. And I'll leave this to the next episode. So Akari is giving good tips about how they can make their case about, well, we want the Soaring Club to have outside members. And it kind of feels like they want to have a new group built by Isuka, and then that group taking the Soaring Club from Keifuu Academy. So once done, it'll be owned by an outside group and not by Keifuu Academy. And by doing so, it means they can change the rules and they can change the structure so that there's more emphasis on safety and there's more extra people on board. And no visor, no faculties to worry about. But anyways, with all that in mind, let's see what Kotori has to say next time.